Yeah, I was definitely very, very high when I wrote that song. It was probably Gorilla Glue number one.
I feel like a lot of artists do kind of they either get caught in a bubble or they're just caught in like being in the scene. There's two different types of artists, and you're either caught in one or the other a lot of the times. Yo, what's happening? Smoking with Too Tall, you know what I'm saying? Use code SW210 at checkout with W Energy, you know what I'm saying? Code SW210 at checkout for 10% off. Introduce yourself to the people and drop all your socials and all that. Tell them what you do.
What's up, everybody? My name is Loriah. Real name is Taylor, but my music name is Loriah, period. There's a period at the end. So important. Instagram, Loriah, period, music. TikTok, Loriah, official. So excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Yeah, the far ass drives, the 2.5 hours. You from the CT, right?
Yeah, Connecticut.
How long you been out there? You always been out there or what?
No, I was living in Fall River for like a good 3.5 years. And then recently moved in with my now ex back in November. And then we got that lease until July. So we're kind of locked in until then. But I like it. It's a nice area. It's very nature, very much the nature vibes going on, and that's my whole vibe. So I far ass drive, but I'm grateful to be here.
Oh yeah, very serene the sound.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna go in order of the way that you like released each of these singles that you have out on Spotify. So the first one would be the Talk to Me Nice. Where's my notes? There was an article written on it when it was released as well on Hype Hub magazine. Was that something that you knew about? That was intentional? Like, what was the deal with that?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll promote my stuff on different websites, trying to get feedback, mainly feedback on some of my music, because I feel like I don't have a lot of people I've been networking with to kind of get that feedback that I need. So I used a company called Groover, and honestly, like, I really appreciate the results because it's given me feedback and insight into my music that I didn't necessarily know I needed. It's not like some people are more critical about it, but at the same time, like, if a sponsor or whatever really likes your music, they'll push it onto different like platforms, or, they've got playlist curators, they've got social media influencers, they've got label art, A&R. So they're a very broad company that allows you to kind of get your music out there, especially for small artists like me, where I feel like there's not a lot of reach, and it's like trying to grind on Instagram and grind on TikTok and, any other app that, people use to try to get their music out there. It's hard. So having extra help like that allows, people to kind of get the word out and really be able to get a better idea of like who I am as an artist. So, yeah, some of those articles, very much appreciated from Groover. Shout out Groover. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I noticed that each of these 3 drops were like released a month almost exactly apart. Were they supposed to be like an EP or like why was that intentional?
So I've been doing music honestly, since I was a kid. I've been very not musically inclined, but my dad's a musician. He's been in a lot of different bands, and I get my taste in music from him, my brother, my mom. Very grateful for it. It's very diverse. But at the same time, like the last couple of years in particular is when I really started like going in and grinding and trying to like produce songs. And this time, like last year, I was really at a place where I felt comfortable being able to put out music. And not that it's super expensive putting out music, depending on, for me, I basically do everything myself except for the beat itself. Like I'll buy a beat from a producer, I'll find one that I like, and I'll write a song to it, or vice versa. I wrote a song, now I need to find a beat that I can kind of put to the lyrics. And so at that period in my life, my goal was to try to just release as much as I can, as frequently as I can. I probably got upwards of, I want to say like 100 songs, but I've only released three, just because financially, times are tough and it's hard to really keep the grind going when you have a full-time job and then a part-time job, and you commute an hour and 10 minutes to work each day, so it gets exhausting. So I was pretty consistent in the beginning with those first three songs, and then kind of kind of fell out a little bit. But as of today, it's official. On March 13th, Friday the 13th, I will be having another song released called Die Alone, so I'm very excited about that. um yeah, there's going to be a pre-save link in my bio on Instagram, so I'm just finally excited to get some new music out there because it's been, almost a year, and it's it's a very big passion of mine, so I want to make sure that I'm continuously investing my time into that because it's what makes me happy, at the end
Yeah.
of the day.
And Die Alone was something I wanted to touch on. I heard the snippet on Instagram. One of the
Yeah.
questions did want to ask was when it was dropping. And so describe like the sound of that record, like sonically speaking.
Ooh. I feel like it's very like ethereal.
Mm.
This is one of the songs that I have that doesn't necessarily have like verses and a chorus like that are very distinct. It's very much one fluid thing, like one fluid song. And it just kind of builds and builds and builds until like it just kind of like bursts. But I just like the way like the harmonies sound together. I like listening to it on full blast in my car. Like
Yeah.
it just sounds it's definitely a song that I'm very proud of, that I've been waiting a really long time for to release. That was one of the first songs that I made like a couple years ago, and recorded a couple years ago. Again, like I do everything myself. I find the beats, but then I mix, I master, record my audio, do all that like myself,
What's your
edit.
recording process like? Do you punch in? Do you freestyle? Do you write? All
So
of it?
it depends on the song, honestly. Depends if I've smoked that day. If I can do it in one take, I'll do it in one take. Usually what I will do is like I'll open like an open track, and I'll just kind of like record like a bass of like the song that I'm recording. And then I'll go in with multiple tracks after that and layer it up. And then sometimes I'll try to do it in one take. It's kind of really depends, but I'll go through it and stack them until like the sound is there. So like with this song, like the chorus, which is not really a chorus, but the end of the song of Die Alone, like there's probably like 30 plus layers stacked of just that one, two lines. Um, but it's a process, and like
Was that annoying to mix?
honestly, I yes and no. I feel like, you know, sometimes I don't realize like how long I've been doing something like on a
Yeah,
project.
I feel
Like,
that.
I'll be in there for hours, and like, my girlfriend at the time would be like, "Hey, you alive? You've been in there for mad long," and I'm just vibing, and so yeah, it is a little frustrating sometimes, especially when like you're a perfectionist and you want things to sound, exactly how you envision it. So with yeah, like 30 plus layers, that was definitely time consuming to say the least. Yeah.
So, what other songs could fans look forward to dropping other than Die Alone? Because like you had a Stuck in Traffic snippet, you had like three other snippets like Far Away. Those look like those were on stream.
Yeah, so I've definitely been on the roll of like kind of testing the waters and doing little snippets of some of my unreleased songs to kind of see where the energy is with people and how they feel with the different songs that I make. That's one thing I try not to stick to is any one genre. I mean, I definitely have a love for R&B and hip hop, but I feel like having a variety and being versatile is kind of like the way to go. I know like a lot of non independent artists are, stuck to the like what ties them down with the label, but like being able to actually just put things out there and like I don't know, like to be able to put things out there and really be able to express myself and especially with these unreleased songs that I'm, making snippets of like for me it's like not like a validation almost, but like it allows me as an artist to get like some sort of like I said, like feedback. Like, you know, not that like the feedback I get from other people is necessarily gonna hold me back from releasing a song, but like I like putting little things out there and like seeing what people have to say. Same thing with like the groover. I like hearing the feedback on my songs and just really being able to grow as an artist because I know I am slowly working my way up. Like, I got a long way to go, but I'm learning every day. I force myself to learn something every day and like teach myself to, you know, also allow myself to like make mistakes because it's healthy to make mistakes and like I can't learn and grow unless I'm making those mistakes. So like I allow the mistakes to happen and then I just kind of pick it up from there and move on. And so, like I definitely feel like releasing um, or posting those unreleased songs really allows me to kind of get that full picture of, you know, is this a vibe or
Well, would you so with the feedback part of it, like I was saying in that far away snippet and those other 3 snippets that were
Mhm.
like released around that time, it looked like you were kind of like streaming. Would you ever see yourself like streaming your process to get that live feedback? Or would you rather wait until it's a final product and then get that feedback?
I feel like, to be honest, like confidence wise, like I'm definitely the type that I want to analyze like my work before I put it out to the masses, kind of a thing.
Mm,
And I think that just comes from, basic insecurities. Like I worry about my voice and the stupid things. Like I'm very shy.
yeah.
Like music is what I want to do, but at the same time, it's hard because I'm, I can't even do karaoke for the most part in front of people because I'm so shy that I think that people aren't gonna like my voice or they expect me to have a good voice because I make music and you know so I feel like not trying to limit myself as an artist, but really just trying to push myself and do something that's gonna make me uncomfortable every day. Like releasing, you know, older clips of me singing certain songs that I thought I could never cover. Like it's kind of like a proud moment for me where I feel like I've kind of accomplished something
Mm.
just a little, um, inside me. Yeah.
Do you ever see yourself like officially releasing a cover of a song? Not on some like financial shit, but like for like streaming and stuff?
I would love to, and I've had a lot of ideas in my head. I definitely love Creep, you know, Radiohead, Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo. Um, Man, there's so many. I have a whole list on Spotify, a playlist called karaoke of songs that like I would if I ever had the balls to kind of do karaoke in
Yeah.
front of people. Like these are the ones that like I know is like kind of in my range. Like I could kind of do. It's a lot of kind of like pop, rock, like Matchbox 20, Journey, like kind of because I feel like I have a masculine voice. So uh,
I feel like not when you're singing though.
that's the thing. Like, I feel like I know I need vocal lessons. I feel like I have a decent range, but like it's very hit or miss. Like
Mm.
the stability with it is like where I lose traction basically. So like
Ha-
I gotta learn balance basically.
have you ever like collaborated with other people? It seems like you're like very much in your own bubble. Like perhaps like if you were to work with like another engineer or something else to get like that second opinion,
Yeah,
might help balance it.
so I record everything from my home studio in my apartment, and before like a couple years ago I was doing my songs with a producer, and he was great. I love doing it, but like my logic is 150 for a 2-hour session is
Right.
pretty expensive when I've got a lot of things in my head that I want to do. And, to me, when I have those ideas, it's really like now that I've kind of gone past that learning curve, I can kind of get in the studio and be like, all right, I know how I want this to sound and I know how to achieve that sound. So now I don't need to go and have someone else do it. Like I might need someone to help with the final master, but um yeah, I've had people reach out before, um, send me some of their beats, collabed on some of that. We're still working on like releasing some of those. Um, Please don't ask me the names.
Nah,
I've
you
gotten
good.
so many messages that I'm a little out of it.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to network more. I want to be able to see what other things are out there. Like, I've always kind of wanted to do like a podcast and stuff like that. And I've kind of done one with my friend before, but she never really released it. But it's just the idea of like being able to network and make those like meaningful connections that can like potentially get me to like my next step of where I want to be. And I realized kind of like what you said, like I'm in my bubble, so like sometimes it's hard for me to step outside that comfort zone of allowing other people to like help me or guide me in the right direction or give me information that I could benefit from. So
I feel like that's a lot of artists too. Like I feel like a lot of artists do kind of they either get caught in a bubble or they're just caught in like being in the scene. There's two
mhm.
different types of artists, and you're either caught in one or the other a lot of the times.
Yeah.
But speaking of like networking, the way that me and you met was at a Token music video. How did you hear about that music video?
Yeah, so I was scrolling on Facebook one day, like I normally do, and a post of his on Facebook came up, and he was asking, he's like, normally I don't have fans in my stuff, but um, basically explained the opportunity that he was shooting in Mass in New Hampshire, and I was like, at first I was like, oh, that's actually a really cool opportunity. I'd love to do that. And then my anxiety kind of got in the way and was like, I don't know, like, I don't know if you can handle that. That seems like a lot. And then the logic in me was like, you got to take healthy risks. That's kind of what I was saying. Like, you got to take those healthy risks and really be able to push yourself and be able to do those hard things that a lot of people normally wouldn't do. It's essentially self sabotage, like I didn't want to do that because um, I knew that going to something like this would be a networking opportunity, that I would meet like minded people and be able to connect with them. And it was true. So I pushed myself and I was
I'm
like, fuck it, I'm going to do it.
I'm glad you had that mentality because I
Yeah.
just walked in. I didn't even know what I was walking in on. No
Really?
bullshit. I thought I was pulling up to do something completely different. No idea that was a music video when I pulled up.
Yeah. Didn't you say you thought it was like a.
Yeah, I thought it was some other shit. We ain't gonna speak on that. But
Yeah.
so one of the lyrics that you had in your track, the only one that we I ain't gonna say that, but you had a track Under Your Nose, and there was a lyric where you were showing love to Jay-Z and Beyonce. You had a lyric that said, where is it? Industry ain't the same without Beyonce, something of those effect. Like, what did you mean by that? Elaborate.
I love that you asked that question because anyone that's listened to that song has never asked that question. Essentially, obviously, I'm a very small artist, but
Before you answer, we love Jay-Z. We co-sign everything Jay-Z does. My last podcast was we have repercussions because we talked ill on the great Jay-Z. So
mhm.
whatever she says, if it does not endorse Jay-Z, this program does not co-sign.
And
And
Beyonce,
Beyonce, we
we
love Beyonce
cannot
as
forget
well.
the Queen,
We cannot
Queen
forget the
Bey.
Queen. Continue.
Um, I think it kind of just spoke for itself. That's exactly what I meant by it.
Hell yeah.
Like just in case if ever one day like my music takes off and like I gotta, I don't want, I don't want to be next. I don't want to. I want to. I want to thank those that paved the way for other people to get where they need to be. And there's also another line in that song at the very end where, I don't know if I can say it, but very political. I
Hell
think the
yeah.
whole song is. That was kind of the whole point of the song was like it was very based on statistics and I spent hours and hours of research on different topics and I had a listing of categories of, hunger, homelessness, mass shootings, Ukraine, like and just like spent hours finding different facts and statistics and then putting those into a verse and um I don't know, it was very fulfilling, it was very rewarding, but at the end, I feel like that was really what got my message and my point across
Hell yeah.
of how the world is very fucked up.
I feel you.
It's very
So the other track that you had that we haven't really touched too much on was Get High.
mm.
Was you high when you was recording the track? And if so, what was the strain?
Yeah, it was probably Gorilla Glue number 1.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I love my Gorilla Glue. Um Yeah, I was definitely very, very high when I wrote that song. Very high when I recorded that song. But I kind of feel like that was the point. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of wanted like not like a stupid little track, but like I wanted a nice track that I could just sit and smoke to and it doesn't have to be anything like big or whatever. It's just vibes. Just like listen to it. It was more the beat that got me.
Yeah.
I feel like there's two components of the song. You got the beat and then you got the lyrics. And, sometimes I can sit and listen to instrumentals that do more for me than a song with lyrics
Mm.
can. So I liked having both of those, just the intensity of the music and the simplicity of like the lyrics of just sitting and getting high.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the flicks that I saw on your Instagram, you met. I'm gonna butcher this, but you met Upsal.
Yes.
Yeah, I looked up her music. Her music fire. So how'd y'all get linked up? Like, how'd you get that flick?
All right. So this has just been a long time coming. Upsal is probably one of my, if not, is my favorite artist. She's very up and coming. I started listening to her about 3, 4 years ago. So I go to Coachella every year. This will be my 4th year this April that I go to Coachella. And my first Coachella that I went, I started listening as I was driving through California, just like people like Ashaniko, King Mala, and then Upsal started coming on. And I noticed like before I really caught on to like who she was, that I was saving a lot of her songs. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go to her artist profile and I'm just gonna listen to all her songs. And I saved every single one. Like it was I don't know, like I just resonated with every single song that she had. It was just like a dope experience being able to drive and fall in love with like a new artist. And so from that point on, I was just listening to her heavy and then we like she put out like her tour dates. So she was opening for Tuvlo and she opened up for her. And then as soon as she opened up for her and was done with that, she went to her merch section and was able to do like a meet and greet. And so I was able to like talk to her, talk about how like I do music and stuff like that. And I was able to get all my stuff signed. And then a year later, I went to another one of her shows, another meet and greet. And as I'm like up there talking to her, she pulls out her phone and she pulls out like up her Instagram, puts my Instagram in there, and just gives me a follow. And that was like a big, like for me, like success. Like I to have one of your favorite artists like follow you on Instagram, I think is a pretty cool little thing. And not only that, but like engagement. Like
And
I
she
post
commented on the flick too.
yeah, she comments on it, and it's a cool thing. I know she's gonna go like really far very soon. In like the same way I feel like Olivia Dean has. Like I've been listening to her for years, and you know, I feel like just recently she started to like really take off. I think that's kind of like what Upsal is gonna be doing real soon. Like
Oh yeah.
I hope so,
I
because
mean, she's already big.
She's yeah, she's
She
fucking
got like 1.3 mil or something like that. Yeah,
she's talented. She's very talented. Like she's like one person that I would die to collab with.
hell yeah.
Like be on a song, you know, some remix of a song. I don't care what it is.
I could
Like
see y'all voices working together on a track. I can
I
see
would
that.
hope so. I hope so. You know, that would be a cool experience.
So real quick,
Yeah.
before we wrap this up, I peeped that you got some t-shirts and merch on the way. Is that like designs that you designed or?
Yeah, so I've kind of taken to creating my own merch. I started creating some probably within like the last year. I would do like little press-ons and stuff like that on jackets
Oh, okay.
and but I've just been getting really bored lately, so I said fuck it, let's see how creative I am. Yeah, I see these videos on Instagram and TikTok of people creating their own t-shirts, so I went to Walmart, got a couple of black t-shirts, started spraying bleach all over them, and yeah, and s- I got some fabric markers and started drawing, and little to my surprise, I can draw.
Hell yeah.
I can draw too. So yeah, I've had a couple of people reach out asking if they can buy it. That was kind of separate aside from my merch. One of the elephant shirts definitely has Loriah on the front, which I also want to sell, but most of the merch that I've created has kind of just been like for myself, just to kind of like prototype and see like what I can do. But you know, as I start to build like a really solid fan base, I want to give that opportunity to be able to have some merch and for sale and
Oh yeah.
people support me because
The designs are pretty dope, so they fire.
yeah,
They come along the way.
thank you,
Last thing
yeah.
I was curious about was you rep Sakinet Vineyard pretty heavy. Like what's with their
Sakana Vineyard.
Sakinet? I
Sakana
don't know.
Vineyard. Shout out Sakana Vineyard too. They got me through the summer, so that was my summer job. So I'm a special education teacher. So during the summer, obviously we're on summer vacation, so I can get a second job. And I, when I was living in Fall River, I decided to get a job at a vineyard and cook. And it was free wine and
Hell yeah.
charcuterie and cheese boards. I was just kind of chefing it up there, but it was just fun. Like, you know, it wasn't like a high stress environment like a lot of kitchens that I've been in have been. Um, and like it was definitely a job where I was very like proud of my work and the stuff that like I put out. So I definitely tried doing that for some advertising for them essentially. You
Got
know,
you.
like just to help them out a little bit, but
All right, for sure. So we're gonna wrap this episode up. I appreciate you popping out, driving all the way out here. It's been another episode of Smoking with Too Tall. Drop your socials one more time.
yes, Loriah period music. That's Instagram at Loriah period music. We got Loriah period official TikTok and Loriah period on Facebook. Thank you so much.
Hell yeah, and this episode has been sponsored by W Energy. Go get yours 10% off at checkout at code SW210, SW210 for 10% off at checkout. Thank you to W Energy for sponsoring the episode. Y'all uplift yourself.